Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm here with some spooky middle grade recommendations. I feel like not a lot of people will look for spooky middle grade specifically, but there are some amazing middle grades that are creepy as ever, and I want to share them with the world. Most of these I have read. I think one or two of them I just acquired, so I haven't gotten around to them yet, but I still want to mention them because it's creepy middle grade, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, so let's just get right into it. First off, look at my pillowcase. Look at Lonely Ghost Support Group, the freaking cutest pillow. Okay, on to the books though. The first one I'm gonna mention is not really spooky, but it is for the spooky season. It's more like funny and cute and spooky. I have to mention it because it's one of my favorites. It's a graphic novel, and that's Fake Blood. I've mentioned this graphic novel a few times on my channel before, but I'm gonna mention it again, of course. So Fake Blood is about a boy named AJ who is really into this girl at his school named Nia, and he finds out that she is completely obsessed with vampires. He has this plan to try to get her to like him by pretending that he is a real vampire. So when he does that, things don't go the way that he planned in his head, but his two best friends are there to help him throughout the whole story, and he has a very suspicious teacher. And it is funny because it has a few Twilight references, so if you haven't read this yet, please do, because it is honestly great. It's a great pick-me-up for the spooky season, in my opinion. So yeah, the next book I want to mention is another favorite middle grade, oh duh, it's middle grade, it's a middle grade video, duh. The book is Hide and Secret by Dr. Herman, and this middle grade is so good. The spooky, the creepiness of this middle grade is truly amazing. So this is about a boy named Justin who had a best friend that was missing, and he didn't come back for a whole year, and they have like a little friend group, so they all kind of go to Z's house because his mom is throwing a welcome home party. But Z is acting super strange, super weird, super creepy. They kind of try to lighten the mood by playing a game of hide and seek. However, the game goes terribly wrong and something super creepy happens. There are creepy rhymes, there's a creepy entity, there's creepy children, and there's basically an upside down in this world. If you like creepy, please pick this up. This is one of my favorite middle grade. I highly recommend. This is like my #1 pick, honestly. So please pick up Hide and Secret if you haven't already and you're looking for something pretty creepy. The next middle grade I just received in the mail like a couple weeks ago. Honestly don't know what it's about, so I'm gonna have to read like straight from the book, but it's called The Midnight Hour. I really don't know about this book, but we're gonna find out together. Another world lives within the stroke of midnight. When strange late night letters start arriving at home, Emily's parents set off to investigate. But when her parents disappear completely, Emily is left alone to face the weird strangers who begin to appear at her door. Taking all the clues at her disposal, she'll set off to discover the secret world of the Midnight Hour, a Victorian London frozen in time, full of magic and monsters. Like, yes. Emily must escape bloodthirsty creatures of the night, figure out her own family secrets, and just maybe save the world. The next middle grade I have is a book called Scritch Scratch, and I just finished this book, I believe last month, or the beginning of this month? Last month? I think it was last month. So this is about a girl named Claire who does not believe in ghosts. She is completely like the science kid. She needs to see it to believe it, otherwise it's not true. And her dad, funnily enough, of course, is a ghost tour guide in their city. So he needs help on his tour guide one night. When she goes on this tour guide bus, she sees a boy in the back of the bus, and when she looks back, he's not there. He begins to haunt her, and of course she has to figure out why and figure out how to stop the haunting. The next middle grade I have and read was called The Stitchers. So The Stitchers follows a girl named Quinn whose dad has recently passed away. So Quinn gets really suspicious of these people that they call the oldies in their neighborhood, who never seem to age and look just very weird. And she gets the help of her neighbor Mike, who goes to her school, to investigate why they are acting the way they are acting. Could they be vampires? They just never age. They're gonna try to figure out what's going on. They then follow the oldies and find a pawn that has like sinister secrets, and they need to figure out what the heck is going on in their neighborhood to these old people and why they're not getting any older and they're just looking younger. So this one's a pretty creepy one, and would highly recommend this one if you are in the mood for something spooky and something very mysterious. The next book I want to mention is the one that has so much, I feel that has so much creepy packed into it. Like it has ghosts, it has talk of like aliens, it has like, I don't know, it's just like so much in one. I feel like that is just, it makes it really interesting. Whispering Pines. Like, where do I even begin? We have Ray, whose dad has recently mysteriously disappeared, and her and her family, her mom and her sister, decide to move to a new town called Whispering Pines to have a fresh start. However, the town, obviously, lucky for us, is very weird and creepy. She soon meets Caden, who is pretty much very mysterious and nobody really talks to him because people think he's weird. I believe he's like a medium or a witch because his mom and him, I think they do like ghost hunting type of things where they like banish spirits from people's houses. So that's why he's kind of like an outcast at their school. But they end up clicking and becoming friends because Ray thinks that there is more than just her dad like up and leaving. She thinks that something happened to her dad and she wants Caden's help to figure that out. Caden has secrets of his own, and so does this town. This book also reminds me of Stranger Things, like more on like the like Hawkins lab kind of side, but there's also like weird talk of aliens, I believe, if I remember right, because that's what kept me going. Not only like the story was interesting, but there was just so much happening, so many different like paranormal aspects that I was just so intrigued. And it left off as a cliffhanger where like the alien talk wasn't as much until like the very end, because there are like ghosts and spirits and missing kids. By the way, the missing kids, they would come back without their eyes, so that's creepy. And just, I think last week, the second book to this came out, and it's called Whispering Pines Infestation, which is a disgusting word. I'm not gonna, it just creeps me out. I haven't started this one yet. Like I said, it just came out, but I'm really happy that I got both of them, and I can't wait to start this. She's also in the first book, I forgot her name, but they are this tight friend group, which is like really cool because I don't know, I really like their friend group. I feel like the characters, even though it's like middle grade, I feel like they're really mature for their age, and it just made like the whole reading experience very enjoyable. If you like Stranger Things, I would read like Whispering Pines and Hide and Seeker. Like I don't know, it reminds me of those. I get those vibes. Another book I want to mention, I just recently read last week. It's called Night Books. This is about a boy named Alex. A boy, I just read it. This is about a boy named Alex who loves all things horror and spooky and scary, and loves to write horror stories. All the kids at his school thinks he's a freak for liking scary stories. Weird, but okay. But he absolutely hates that, so he decides that he's going to burn his books that his scary stories are in, which he calls his night books. So when he leaves his apartment building to go down to burn his night books, he comes across an apartment where he starts to hear his favorite movie being played, and he decides to knock on the door and like talk to this person because that's his favorite movie. This door opens to this apartment, he goes inside, and he's basically drawn in and then trapped there by a witch. This witch absolutely loves scary stories, and the only way to keep himself alive is to tell her a new scary story every night. This was recently turned into a movie on Netflix, and last Wednesday, I believe, and as soon as I found out, I sped through this book just so I can watch the movie. The movie is pretty good, really creepy at the end, like very creepy at the end, but I watched it with my son and it was really good. We both enjoyed it. But he decides that he needs to escape because he finds out that he's not the only kid that has ever been in there. There's another girl living in this apartment who has been trapped there for I think 3 years or so. I think it was 3 years. And he tries to get her to help him and so that they can escape. So Night Books is another one, and if you're looking for like a movie adaptation for it, it is on Netflix. It just came out, so I highly recommend this one, especially for the spooky season. The last spooky middle grade that I want to talk about is called The Circus of Stolen Dreams. I have not finished this one yet. I did start it. So this is about a girl named Andrea, and her little brother Francis has gone missing. Her mom and dad are trying to move on from it, like very slowly, but Andrea is not over it. It's her brother, so she feels like she needs to do something about it. But one day she is walking in, I believe, like the woods by her house, and she finds a magical realm basically, and it's a circus called Reverie. And to enter this circus you have to give up a memory. Once she enters this circus, each of the tents she finds out are dreams and nightmares that you can basically live in, and they say that it's not real, but you can go into any dream, any nightmare, and just like live through it and come out and be fine. But she ends up coming across one of her brother's tents, which is one of his nightmares, and she believes that there's something way worse that happened to her brother, so she has to figure out how to get him out. And she makes a new friend, I believe called Penny, and asks for her help to find her brother, because she believes her brother is in this circus, because she finds out that the circus is a trap, not like a play place. So I thought like that whole concept just made me want to pick this book up. So I will finish this, but I had to at least mention it because I believe that a lot of people would be super into this. So yeah, but those are all the spooky middle grades that I do want to recommend. If you have any middle grades that are spooky, please let me know.